Hey everyone, welcome. Excited to try something new, and that is trying to give sort of like a weekly, not forecast, but some sort of a understanding into the week. And so you know that we don't live by the New York Times, the LA Times, Chicago Times, whatever it is, that the true times that we live by is the times of the Parsha, the times of the reading of the Parsha. And so to understand really what is going on in our lives on a weekly basis, but also on a daily basis, it's very important to check out the weekly portion, the weekly Parsha, and to really gain those tools and those teachings of what they're really telling us and how to apply them to our lives. And so this week's portion is called Yitro. Yitro, Jethro, literally means to add. And so I want to bring out 3 points about this week's Parsha. So first of all, Yitro is the Parsha that the Torah is given. And the Zohar makes the point that why is it that this individual called Jethro, Yitro, who is the father-in-law of Moses, is the Parsha, is the one that has the Torah, the purpose of creation being given on that portion, by that individual being named that Parsha. So that's extremely strange. And the Zohar explains the reason for that is as follows, that Jethro was the most sophisticated philosopher of all in the entire world. And he essentially knew all the religions, all philosophies, dark magic, etc., all those things. And for him to now come to an understanding that the Torah and that true godliness is what it's all about, is where the Torah could be given. And so the point of transformation, of giving the Torah, has to come from the lowest most point. That the lowest most point is that point that Jethro, that Yitro basically says that I now realize that everything that I was going through, everything that I understood is really secondary to that understanding that really that the Torah is the truth, and that godliness is the truth, and these miracles that were done are the amazing truth. And so that's where the Zohar tells us that's where the Torah was given specifically. So that's the point number one. Point number one is that when we understand, when we come to something, we have to understand that it's about what we bring to the table. And what we bring to the table has a tremendous significance. And it's not just about eradicating what we know already and that, and whatever it is that we went through, but to bring that to where it is to the next step and what it is, where we're going to. And so to bring our life experience, to live with a certain distinction of understanding that what it is that we went through is significant. And so that's point number one. Point number two in this week's Parsha is that Yitro actually gives Moshe a delegation role. And he basically tells him that it's impossible for you to do what you're doing, because what you're doing is that you're trying to run an entire nation on your own. And it doesn't make sense for you to do that on your own. And so the way for you to do that is to do that via delegation. And so delegation is extremely important to understand that we can't do things on our own, that we have to delegate things to others. So if we want to be successful and we want to grow whatever it is that we're trying to do, then we have to make a plan, we have to compartmentalize, we have to break things up, and by doing that, that's how we become more and more successful. The third idea is that, and that is basically the giving of the Torah we find on this portion, on this week's Parsha. The giving of the Torah is actually given right on the 6th day, on Shishi, the 6th day of the week, on Friday. And so it says over there, "Vaydaber Elokim et kol advarim ha'ele lemor," and God spoke all these things, lemor, saying. And that word lemor is really a little bit perplexing, because what does that mean, lemor, to say? Everything was given over by God to Moses, and what does it mean, lemor, to say? And so the Talmud tells us that Lemor really tells us that everything that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai was transmitted, and it came through to us, right? And in all generations, sort of permeated through in order to give us this sort of novelty. And that idea of novelty in Hebrew, that's called chidush. Chidush is understanding that everything comes from that focal point. That focal experience now gives us the power to now understand things on a deeper level, either for ourselves or within, understand things that other people have said in the past, and to embrace them on a deeper level. And so this idea of chidush, of novelty, is an important essence of everything, because the idea is that we are not just coming on our own and we're just starting off with some sort of it was a one-time experience. The giving of the Torah was a one-time experience. It's an ongoing experience, and we're reverberating through it, and we're actually receiving that essence, that light, and we are really receiving that sense of novelty, of chidush. And so we have the ability to really create something new, and to understand something new based on Torah means that we're living on the principles and the way that the Torah is understood. We're not just spelling things out just on our own, so to speak, but it's based on those principles. And basically those 13 principles of the understanding of the Torah is what is really living through us, and what gives us the power to really understand things in a new way of the Torah, based on our lives, and to really ultimately improve our lives and the connection that we have with Hashem, the connection that we have with God. And so, just to summarize, these three lessons, right, and 3 points that we have in the parsha. First one, again, is Yitro coming forth, and by him coming forth, he really caused the giving of the Torah to be reciprocated from God. And that means that also in our lives, we have to come forth with whatever it is that we're going through, even if with our background, even with our mistakes, everything that we're going through. And by doing that, we merit to receive the Torah. The second idea is we have to learn how to delegate, and we have to learn how to break things apart, and ideas could be very massive. And when we take the time to actually plan and to really, go through the steps, so then we're able to be successful at it. That's the idea that Yitro gave to Moshe. And then the third idea is that we have the power to really bring forth novelty, to bring forth something new. So I urge all of you to bring something new. What is something new that was not added last week? What is something new that you could do, that you could add in your connection to, in your closeness that you have to Hashem, to the divine, and your ability to bring it down to a very practical level, and to delegate, and to really bring yourself into the picture. So all this is the theme of the Parsha Yitro. Yitro means to add. And so we're all asked to add, bring something forth, bring something new, and something that wasn't there before. So let's go out and do it. And I want to wish all of you and all of us an amazing, amazing, awesome week. And just a reminder, on Thursday, there's going to be this live webinar from Ascent. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go into much greater detail on this. And definitely, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to reach out and to definitely join that. And look forward to seeing everyone, and wishing you a very blessed week and only good things.